Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the live show. It was definitely an odd day being off and not being a major holiday, so it felt a little odd, but hey, we all rested up and and nobody's account went down unless you had crypto, because that was going down. But let's get rolling through everything so you guys can go and check out the Orange Bowl. It's 10-0. Penn State's beating Notre Dame. Should be 14-0. Guy dropped the ball in the first one and they had to kick a field goal. But anyway, it's not even the first half isn't over yet, so we will get cruising. You guys can check that out because people want to watch it, and then we'll know what's going on for tomorrow and the rest of next week and everything else. So let's go. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice, so always do your due diligence. And I hope everybody did have a good day off here. And let's get rolling right here. I have just what everybody wanted to look at right on StockTwits and X. So let's cruise and see what you guys want to see. RVSN, that Rail Vision, that one had run up. We knew it was. It is just pulling back here. Let's see how it ended on, I was going to say Friday because it was off today. And I probably will say that 10 times, but it was Wednesday today. Yeah, it closed Wednesday. Today's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. So this is how it looks on Wednesday at the close that we're looking at. Kind of odd, but here we go. Rail Vision RVSN 177 to 182. It's at 155. It was pulling back. I think it's going to have to come back some more, hit that MACD line, and possibly get set back up. So I think we're going to have to keep an eye on RVSN to pull back. NAOV, let's see this one, Nano Vibranix or something crazy. It ran up the other day on January 6th, and it had pulled back here on Wednesday. NAOV. And let's see what it did. What day was that? January 6th was Monday. The thing ran up pretty good. And now it's hitting that line just kind of flat, hitting that support line. I could see this one trying to bounce tomorrow. We'll keep an eye on this one. We'll look for that little bounce, but I'll look at that NAOV. NAOV. And we'll see if that wants to bounce there. ELAB, let's see what that's up to. ELAB down 23 cents the other day. And this one had run up there, pulling back, and it might be a nice little dip and rip situation. Let's see, 234 got up 2 cents, and then came down to 207 and closed at 210. And it doesn't even look that bad. I mean, it's under the 20, but it is touching that line. And I'm not so sure it wants to get into the basement again. So I think we're going to keep an eye on ELAB. I'll check that out in the morning. That could have a little bounce look. And I'm not saying it has to bounce tomorrow, but it could be getting set up to bounce for next week. So PALT, Intelligent Protection Management Corp. And let's see what they're up to. This one was pulling back to the 20, but you know what? It looks really good to set up there. Let me see. IPM here. And let's see what it looks like. Wait, hold on. What is going on here? PALT, is that change its name? Because it just went to something different, I swear. PALT, yeah, it definitely changed its name. Okay, so I guess it changed its name because it's not PALT. Yeah, they had an acquisition of new tech on right after the new year. So now that yeah, and then the stock ticker changed on the 7th. So that did change on Tuesday. And so now we'll look at it. And they had somebody get appointed, 2 people to the board of directors. So IPM now it's not PALT, it's IPM. So let me just mark that IPM. So they did do a stock ticker change. So let me take a look at it. It's at 197, and it did run up there on Monday, and it pulled back. And like I said, it looks like it's trying to set up with that 20 and 50. I'll keep an eye on that, especially with the stock ticker name. That doesn't look bad at all. ZBAO, we looked at this last week and it was like just trying to bottom out there. And this one looks like it is trying to get out of the basement and will look decent tomorrow. So let me see what it did. Yeah, I would keep my eye on ZBAO. That one looks pretty good right there for tomorrow. And again, we had a day off in between, so you just never know. We have to see how the market conditions are. Everything's kind of thrown off out of whack, but we will still see in 7 a.m. in pre-market. You know, we'll be on and we'll check things out. But as of Wednesday's close, ZBAO looks decent right here. That looks like it's setting up to get moving. So we'll keep an eye on that tomorrow. ISPC, iSpecimen. Let's see, this bad boy is just kind of was moving up. That bottom was back here at 264. It was just kind of pulling back, but didn't look too bad. So I don't think it's really trying to pull back hard. I think it was just coming back with the market. So I think ISPC might be safe. We can look at that. LAES, this is at Seals Q Corp that had run way up and it took a nice dip. It's a semiconductor one, and it did have a really nice dip the other day. It went what 606 up to 688 and then down to 325 and closed at 598. So it's hitting the line right now on the MACD, and it almost looks like it wants to cross through and come down. So that's one we definitely have to look at tomorrow. It's a hard one to tell. It could pull back down here to like that 232 area, and again, it pulled way back there to that 325. And I'm not sure if that was the bottom. It is hitting that line pretty hard, and we'll have to see how that works out tomorrow. So let me look at that tomorrow too. It could go either way, especially with a day off in between. You don't know what the momentum's going to do. So MULN pulling into the basement right here. That's a good old mullen, and it did run up probably for a day or so when we were looking at it. I guess a week or so. I don't remember exactly. If I could type it in, I'll tell you. MULN, here we go. And it did run up there on New Year's Eve it ran up. We were looking at it right before the New Year. And now it pulled back 82 to 83 and down to 65. It closed at 69, and it does look like it's staying in the basement. I'm not so sure if that's a bottom and it wants to pop right out. It is over the MACD line, so that don't look too bad. I mean, it could be a little bottom, like a dip and rip little pop situation. I keep my eye on Mullen. I'll look at it, but we all have a great Mullen story, so you don't want to trust it. I just can't tell if it definitely wants to pop out of that basement tomorrow, so I'll look at it in the morning. I'll let you know. I mean, we'll know at 4 a.m. I think that's when everything will resume, is at about 4 a.m. The Weeble and the other ones will start picking up from overnight hours. And I know the overnight market is kind of moving a little bit at the moment. So we'll take a look and see what that's up to. TPET, that thing was running the other day. Let's see what it wants to do here. TPET, it did run 125 to 265, and it's at 195 right now. And we were definitely all over that. It's trying to hit that top, and is it going to get through? I am not sure. There's some good resistance right there at that 234 area. And being on a day off, and it's hard to tell. Like I say, if I had to bet, I would say it's probably not. But I mean, it could be crazy volume and everything's green and it starts to move. I had 89 million in volume on Wednesday, so we'll take a look at all these guys in the morning. We'll run through, see what looks good. We'll look at the scanners and everything as normal. It's just a weird one because it wasn't really a big holiday, and then you just have a day off here, so it's kind of odd, and a lot of dips right before it, so that makes it even crazier. So MCVT, a lot of people are talking about this Mill City Ventures. Let's see, down 28 cents and an up in the after hours. Let's see what this is up to. MCVT, Mill City Ventures. It went 442 down to 190 and closed at 321. And let me see if I can get a good, I mean, that one's a crazy one too. It's in the top and does it want to bounce off that top line and stay up in the top, or does it want to come out of the top and pull back some more? You just can't even tell. I mean, it's right there. It could go either way. I think if I had to make a guess, I think I would say it's going to bounce back up and stay in the top. But that would be my best guess from looking at both charts right here. And I could be completely wrong. So I'm just telling you what a guess is, because again, these are just hard to tell. I mean, they're just wacky, and then you don't know what the momentum is on a day off like today. But let's just see what the setups are. At least we'll know what we're looking at tomorrow and what could be good. And we'll look at the scanners real quick. That TRNR, that also pulled back. It was up to like 314 or opened at 317, got up to 328 and came down to 293. and that's where it's at. And that could just be a little healthy pullback to the 20. And that thing looked great. And I don't know if that 340 was really its top, but maybe it was. I don't think so, though. It looks like it's trying to curl up here. So, and it was looking way too good before. And right now it just kind of looks on the 20, but it could go either way real quick. So that is that. TRNR and this GCTK, a lot of people are looking at the glucose track, and it's way down there. And I even posted about it. It was sitting right there on the line, and then it got into the basement, but it pulled itself out. So it got a little better as the day went on. I posted about it early. It was sitting right there, not looking bad, and then it went down. It opened at 16, went up to 27, and went down to 11, but closed at 14. So it wasn't looking bad. And so yeah, that GCTK, I would definitely keep an eye on this thing because it's trying to do something here, and I think it is going to try to roll off that MACD and bounce off that bottom. Like I said, it pulled itself out of the basement there, and it did pop in there because I know, and as soon as I posted it, like 5, 10 minutes later, it dipped into the basement right there, and it was just sitting on the line. And at the end of the day, it was sitting on the line. So there you go with GCTK. I don't think it was, I think that could have been its bottom right there. It got down to that 11 cents. Real nice dip right there, and should try to get popping, I think. So we'll keep our eye obviously on GCTK, that gluco track one. And let's look at SVMH, one that we've been looking at. And this one is at 5, 6 cents. It's at 6 cents. I know it ran up the other day when we were looking at it. SVMH, and that was on Tuesday. It ran up to like 10 cent area. And on Wednesday, 8 cents down to 5, but closed at 7. And doesn't even look bad. It did have some pullback. It was in the top and pulled out, but it could easily bounce back up. It already did it once. And yeah, it don't look too bad right there, that SVMH. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. And how about GOSS, Gossamer Bio? This one had already run up. It's pulling out of the top. I took a quick peek at this one, and it is pulling back, and I think you're going to see a dip. I think it might have topped out there at that 118 area. So GOSS, I would look for a little pullback there. CDIO, this one had just run up recently, and that one's pulling back. So I think CDIO is going to pull back some as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as well, because I think we're going to see a little pullback there. And let's see what else is going on right here. CDIO pulling back a little bit. GOSS, COEP, let's see you. This one actually looks real good to try to get up into the top. At least it did the other on Wednesday. And let me see how it closed. Yeah, 5.99 to 7.43. It's at 6.86. I think this might be that momentum play tomorrow. So keep an eye on this one, that COEP. I know we were looking at this one as well, and it is looking pretty decent. It did run up, like I said, on Wednesday there, 5.99 to that 7.43, and it does look good to try to get up into the top. It is trying to curl up there and not looking bad. So we'll keep an eye on that, see if it gets up there. It could run early in the morning. NEO, this one is popping up in the top and didn't look too bad. NEO, this one went 8.19 to 19.11 and is at 18.40. And it did cross through, and it's not looking bad. It has some good resistance there at 1878, but if it gets through that, it's going to get booming up into the top. So you keep your eye on Neo, and maybe it'll run like Neo and be like it's in the Matrix. We'll keep an eye on that and see what it wants to do, because it could get cruising up there. ALLR, this bad boy is looking better. We were looking at it the other day. I don't know if obviously not, because we didn't do the show, but we were looking at it 101 to 172. It's at 108. So there you go. We had that on the list. I didn't even notice that it popped there. So there's a good one right there. We were looking at ALLR, and that one was a really nice pop right there. And it's at 108, and let's see, it doesn't look bad. So keep an eye on that one, ALLR. and we were definitely looking at that. We've looked at it before, and we were all over that. And I didn't, like I said, didn't even know it popped up there, but it did. GNS, that Genius Group, I would keep an eye on this. I know we were looking at it, said it was going to get set up and pull back, and it's about to get really set up here. It may pull back to this 50 cent area, 53 possibly. It's at 61 right now, 62. So let's see where it pulls back tomorrow and gets set up, but that one's going to be a good one as well. So we'll keep our eye on that probably for next week. Should be good. CURR. This one was running, and let's see what it did. 143 to 708. We were looking at it. It's that current group, and let's see what it wants to do on tomorrow. CURR. It could have run up all the way there. It's in the top. I don't know. I'd have to look at this in the morning. This might be one of them ones that runs up again and gets crazy again tomorrow, especially in the morning. So look for that to be a little momentum play right there. CURR, because it could get crazy. It has that look like it just poked its head into the top. And sometimes when they do that, they can be that multi-runner. And it's in that spot where it could bounce up. And if it gets back over that 460 area, you're going to see it cruising. So CURR, we will keep an eye on that one for tomorrow as well. And let's take a look at TNXP. This one is a good one. And let's see what it's doing. I remember it just recently ran up. Well, I guess that was about a month ago now, December 17th area. And let's see, it is pulling back here, trying to hit that 20. So let me see what you're trying to do. 29 to 31, down to 26, close at 27. And like I said, I think it might have to come back to that 24, and we'll take a look at it tomorrow. But TNXP might pull back some, and we'll have to see what that's up to right there. And it is 10 to 3 at the halftime. Penn State is winning over Notre Dame, and they are at halftime right there. So B Hat, let's look at that. Blue Hat Interactive Entertainment Technology, and this was quite a runner as well. BHAT, it started to move around there, 15 to 22. It came down to 7 and then closed at 9. So you want to talk about a quick mover right there? Did they have like another offering? January, it had another offering. How crazy is that? They did an offering on January. Remember, I've talked about this before with these penny stocks. And as soon as they start moving, they just pulled a rug right out. They did an offering on January 6th of $4.4 million. And then to back it up, so then the price, let's go through this real quick. I mean, we wanted to do a fast show, but we have to look at this. January 6th, it was way down here because it dipped down. It was at 9.5, 8 cents was its low down there. And the day before, well, January 3rd, that Friday before, it opened at 13 and got up to 15.5. So then Friday it closes right there at about 14 cents, somewheres in that area. We open Monday at 9 cents. We get down to 8. They throw a direct offering out there for $4.4 million. And then it pops up the next day. It goes from 10 to 13.5. It closes at 11.5. And then the very next day, it pops up again, like 15 to 22. And the day before that, it was like 10 to 16. Then it went 15 to 22. And then they threw another offering out for 3.9 million. How crazy is that? Talk about diluting shit and getting crazy. And that's wild right there. So, yeah, you got to be careful with these penny stocks, but it was good. I mean, it ran up and it did pop up there 2 days. But yeah, talk about throwing offerings out there and dropping the price real quick. It was up at 22 and came down to 7. So that was BHAT. And that's why I say you have to trade these bad boys smart. So that's that Blue Hat. It did pop, don't get me wrong, but you had to be in and out. And it had run up the other day as well. So when we were looking at it before that, Scott was all over this thing, and it ran up on the 31st on New Year's Eve. So there you go with the old BHAT. But just interesting, 2 direct offerings right there in 2 days. And like, how crazy can that be? Let's look. NIVF. If I wrote it down wrong on the paper, I wrote NVIF. It's definitely not that. It's NIVF. And that one looks like it could just be a bottomed out or like a bottom little pullback there on Wednesday. 37 and it got up to 39, down to 32, and it's at 35. It's sitting on a good support line right there at 35. and your 20's at 36. So that one could get popping, guys. We'll keep an eye on this NIVF and see how that sets up tomorrow. And like I said, it's right in between there. So keep an eye on that bad boy. I think that one's trying to get set up there, and I'll keep an eye on that. The good old lion. We have to have a talk with this lion here because it was supposed to get moving. It was down a penny here. It looks like it's just kind of sitting in that channel right there. Let me see what it did in the after hours here. It went 20 down to 17. That's where it's at. And that channel is right there from 18 to 18 to 18. Say 18 to 19 because it's right there. And 18 to 19, we're coming back down to the MACD line. Not looking terrible. Trying to get set back up. I don't think it wants to come back down to that 12-cent area. And we're at 17. So I think it might hang itself up and stick itself on the MACD and try to curl back up for next week. We'll have to see how tomorrow goes for the Lion, and we'll have to have a talk with that to get it to run because it should try to set back up and move. And real quick, we'll just look at JAGX. I didn't add them on there. That was down 9 cents after it had just run the other day. Looks like it's pulling back. And the Cheetah, this was down like 18 cents and it's still in that channel. So it basically ran down to the bottom of that channel where we talked about that price. And RCAT, that definitely came down $1. It's sitting on a support line, but it looks like it might have crossed through. Could come back to that 20 at like 1088 right there. So RCAT, and that was one of them ones that got smacked down there, the computer hardware. So yeah, I think that one is going to have to come back into the 10s, 1095. It's at 1195. So we'll see what that wants to do tomorrow. Maybe it is trying to bounce off this 1205 area, but I'm not so sure it is. And it does look like it's trying to pull back there. So we'll look at the RCAT as well. And let's see what ADTX is doing. This one has been setting up. It's still in the basement and pulled back. Maybe this is finally a dip and real rip situation here because it just took that bottom like what 19 to 15 and it closed at 18. I think that's going to be it there. And it was setting up perfect. And then you have that big dip and rip look. So keep your eye on ADTX tomorrow. Let me just jot that one down, mark it up, because ADTX, I'm telling you, is looking pretty sweet right there, especially with that dip look. I mean, it was looking good before, and with that bot, like that big pullback on Wednesday, it looks even better. So we'll see what that's up to. LINC, let's see, Lincoln Educational Services. This one looks like it could be trying to curl up here. Let me see what it's up to. It did have a crazy day on January 3rd, 12 to 15.59, and I don't know what it was doing. It was, yeah, I have no idea. It was kind of wild, but I think it's trying to get set up here and get back into that $15 area and then pop off of there. So keep an eye on. It looks like that 20 is coming to meet that 50. It does look like it's setting up. LINC, I want to see that one tomorrow. It's not looking bad there. How about EYEN? We've been keeping an eye on Inovia, and it is trying to set up in the right spot. It did run the other day. Let's see. What day was it? On the 7th, on Tuesday. It just ran. 12 to 17, and it closed at 14. And the other day, Wednesday, 15 down to 11, closed at 10. And again, it's just trying to get set up. I think it might jump around as it gets set up here, and then it's going to pop off for Inovia, EYEN. And let's see, TANH. Let's look at Tantech Holdings here. Oh, this one's getting set up in the right spot with that nice dip, too. So we're going to have to look at this one as well. It should come down to that MACD line right there. It went 21 to 23, and it closed at 18. And yeah, I think we're going to have to take a look at this. We had some nice pullback dips there on Wednesday, and we could have some really nice setups going into next week. So we'll have to take a look. And you're only about a week out from the administration's changing hands. So it's definitely getting interesting, that's for sure. And that is TANH. That's one of them China companies, penny stock basically at 18 cents. And again, it looks like it's trying to get set up here. So we'll see if it wants to roll off that MACD. It very well could and get cruising. That SYRS, we were looking at it, was trying to get set up. took a little pullback down 2 cents, which is 10%, and cut that 50 down to there. And let's see what it did in the after hours here. Yeah, it's not looking bad. I mean, it did pull back, don't get me wrong. 23 to 24, it came down to 21, and that's where it closed. So it did pull back a little bit, not looking terrible. A lot of them did. And this one, I'm telling you, was trying to get really set up. It did pull below the 20 right there, but could easily bounce back up and look good. ADTS, that's what that says. No, it doesn't. AD something, it says. AD, is it IS? No. J? No, I don't know. I thought it was an ADTS. Let me look. ADT, and that goes to ADN, so I don't know. Let me see. Let's see what ADN says. ADN. Advent Technologies, maybe it's that, and they changed names. I have no idea. Let me see. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll look at ADN because that popped up, and I don't know what ADTS is, but this one popped up. Let me do it again. ADTS, yeah. Oh, no, it does. I have no idea, honestly. Yeah, no, I don't know. ADTS. It does pull up as something. I'm not even sure what the heck it is. But anyway, I look at ADN because it did pop up here. Advent Technologies, and it is setting up. It ran up the other day, but it's not looking bad right here. It actually looks pretty damn good. So ADN, we can add that to the list. It did pull back 615 to 624, came down to 552. And that 20 sitting there at 542, and it is getting set up, so it pulled back like everything else. And that's ADN. That's just something added to the list there. And LITM was that Snow Lake Resources. That looks like it's pulling back. It's coming back down to the line right there. And I think it's going to have to hit this 20, obviously, at 59 cents. It's coming down to that MACD line, so it doesn't have anything to hold it in between there. So, yeah, it's either going to come down a little more and hit the MACD and try to stop itself, or it has to come down to that 20, as like I said, around like 61 cents, 60 cents, 61. And we'll see what it wants to do, but I think that one might have to pull back. It says it went up a little in the after hours there, but I'm not so sure. Like I said, unless it can crawl off that MACD and it gets there tomorrow, but I'm not sure it's going to. And that's LITM. Didn't we just do ADTX? Yeah, we definitely just did that one. And AEHL was that Antelope one, and it was running up the other day. It looked great. Just the Tuesday, it looked amazing. And then Wednesday just took a huge dip like everything else. So that went 24 down to 18. That's where it's at. Not looking terrible, but did take a dip. So we'll look at it, and it was trying to get moving there. And it did, like I said, it was running up like an antelope, and then it just kind of fell apart. So LIPO, that Lapella, this thing seems to be trying to get set up here. We keep looking at this, and it does stair step itself up, and it isn't looking too bad right there. So did dip down 321 to 353. It's at 299 right now. And it is sitting on the 50, and it did just kind of pull back there, and it's trying to hit the MACD line, and I think it's trying to crawl off of there. So I do think LIPO is looking good to set up. And what is this next one? NVEE. Let's see what NVEE is doing today. NV5 Global. I'm not sure if we ever looked at it, but I'll tell you what, it just came out of the basement and it looked pretty good. Whoever sent it over, it looks decent right here. 1810 to 1950. It's at 1913. And yeah, I would say keep your eye on NVEE. That one looks like it could be a little momentum popper tomorrow, so keep an eye on that. FBIN. Let's see what FBIN is up to. FBIN, Fortune Brands Innovations here. This one looks good too with the good fortune here with 69.37. It was up $1.37, crawling up out of the basement. FBIN. It's an easy one to remember. FBIN 67.63 up to 70.04, and it closed at 69.37. And yeah, FBIN looks really good right there, guys. So keep an eye on that. The 20 is at like 71.11, but it looks like it wants to run up there too. So keep your eye on that bad boy, and that's FBIN. AMPH, let's look at this one. These are all different ones, and this one's curling up and it looked like it bottomed out. So this one's looking good too. AMPH, 34.91 up to 36.99, and it closed at 36.68, and it is looking good. So these three look like they're three little momentum jobbers right there, trying to set up and get moving. SGN is like a sports one, I think, like sports signing or something. Let me see. Signing day sports. I was close. Signing day sports. This is curling up. We've looked at it before. Someone liked it before, and the thing like popped out of its mind. And let's see, it's looking good. 237 to 320 at 244. And that 20 is right there. It got up to 298. It got through it. And this thing isn't looking bad, I must say. It's getting to be in the right spot, guys. I can tell you that. SGN, you might want to take a look at that one because that one's starting to look really good right there. Oh, that's at CENX. I swear I can't see. I don't know what's going on here. CENX. Oh, CENX. Here we go. Century aluminum. These aluminum ones, remember, they're looking great, guys. So we already went through all of them, and that one is looking good. So keep your eye on that. And we did go through all four aluminum ones. And since there's only four, I'll pop them up. And it was AA, CENX, and CSTM, and KALU. AA is Alcoa or something like that. And that one is just getting set up. They do have earnings coming up on the 22nd. But it is looking good, guys. So keep your eye on this bad boy, AA. And it's not an Alcoholic Anonymous. It did dip down, and that 34.76 could very well be its bottom right there. So keep your eye on AA because that is looking really good to get set up. CSTM, this one's about to get moving. It's excuse me, get moving. It's in a great spot, trying to get cruising right there. It looks so good, it took my breath away. 1193 to 10, and then it came down to like 1022 and closed at 1077. It looks really good though, so I don't know what was going on. CSTM, it was definitely jumping around, but definitely looking good. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that bad boy. CSTM, we're gonna write that one. AA, let me write them all down just so because I know they're setting up. KALU and CENX was the first one we looked at. So there you go. And let's look at, that was CSTM, KALU. That one's getting curled up and going to start rolling. It's at 70.38 and looking good right there. So these aluminum ones, and we were talking about them the other day, this one's 68.20 to 70.38, and it's at 70.38. That's looking really good. And there you go with your aluminum plays. So yeah, they're looking really good, aluminum. I don't know what's up with that. But I guess everybody needs aluminum for something right now, and I'm not sure what it is. So the heck are you making with aluminum? I have no idea. Um, I mean, I know what you make with aluminum, but I don't know why it's why these four are ready to pop. That's what I was saying. But anyway, decom, here we go. And let's see what's going on right here with this one, decom. Just seeing all right, let's go. Decom is looking good. Dime Community Bank Shares. This one looks nice right here. Curling up real good. DCOM. Yeah, I'd say that's going to be a winner. 30.41 to 31.62. It's at 31.31. And that looks like it's going to be a good one right there. So I'd keep an eye on DCOM and CCCS. That's CCC Intelligence Solutions. And let's see. Oh yeah, this one's setting back up too. That bottom was Thursday, it looks like, at 11:19. Yeah, right there. 11:14, but it looks like it's going to move. And on January 6th, which was Monday, it got up to 12:48 and it wants to set back up and get cruising again. So that one looks good. That DCOM and CCCS, both of them are looking good right there. Let's keep on moving right here. VVOS. Let's see what that one looks like. Vivos Therapeutics. And that has that crazy look like it tried to bottom, like base out right there, and it wants to get moving, but you just can't tell. It went 470 down to 405. It's back to 432, and like I said, it just has that weird look about it. So I'll look at that one, VVOS, tomorrow. Let's see what that wants to do. It could go either way. Um, ATOM, that says Adam Herrera. Something like that. Atomura, something. I like to say the names of these things because I can't even pronounce them. They're all crazy. This is semiconductor equipment and materials, and yeah, it's ATOM is Atom, but I don't know what the heck the name of it is. It's ATOMERA Inc. So it is down 438. It took a nice dip right there out of the top. And I think Atom is gonna, and that's ATOM Atom, not ADAM. Atom, ATOM with my Jersey accent. And it did open 1544 down to 1155, and it closed at 1180. It looks like it's gonna come down and may hit that 1080 area at that 20, but it does look like it might want to stop at the MACD. We'll have to look at it. It took a major dip, but the 20 is, like I said, down at like 1080 maybe, and it could come down there and set back up, and that's ATOM. And that one could be a good one to keep an eye on. QBTS, all of these took a beating. And like I was saying, that CEO of NVIDIA kind of smashed these down, saying they were like 10, 15 years out. They were topped out anyway, so it's not like it was a surprise to me. I kept saying you got to be careful with these bad boys. They were completely topped out, and they'll probably get set back up and run back up. I mean, they had crazy run up. So QBTS is the D Wave Quantum. It was down $3.45 in QBTS. Let's see what you want to do. It did almost come down to that 50, which is at about almost 436, and its low was 465 there. So it did take a nice dip, and maybe it'll stay between this channel right here of that four, like I said, make it like 440 and 760 something. So it opened at 830, came down to 465, and it closed at 649. It's right in that channel now. Maybe it'll stay there and try to get set back up while they do. We'll keep an eye on these ones. We'll look at another couple real quick. RGTI, the game just started back up in the third quarter here, and RGTI took a really nice dip. It was down almost like $10 at some point. I hope Laptop Travel cashed in those options before that one happened. And RGTI, and I believe he did the other day actually, that one crossed through, and that looks like it's going to come down to the 50, which is in the $6 range. So that's a 10. It could keep coming down pretty good tomorrow, so we'll watch that one. IONQ, that one took a really nice dip. It almost dipped like $20 or so. It went like 44, 47 down to 25 something. It's at 32.05. And that one looks like it might keep coming down. That one went right through to 50 and looks like it's coming down to the bottom. So that one looks like it's going to dip a little bit more there. And RKLB is Rocket Lab. And this one is getting set up again. Aerospace and defense, guys. So Des had that pullback, was trying to cross through, actually just setting up, probably going to be a next weeker. And we're going to have to take a look, I think, at aerospace and defense. We'll do that at some point tomorrow. I'll go through a bunch of them, and that and the other ones that were getting set up, the other sectors. So I'll cruise through them. I was looking at some of them today, but let's look and see how they look tomorrow, because it is going to be a Friday, and then we'll have a nice full week, and then we'll have a Monday off for Martin Luther King Day, and that's also when Trump gets in. So interesting things coming up, and we'll dissect the market each day. But yeah, Rocket Lab does look like it is trying to set up right there. It could be a next weeker. IVDA, this one was down. It's hitting that 20. It looks like it wants to cross through there and come down some more. It is touching that 20 right there at 380, I would say. 381 was its low. It's at 430. And yeah, that one's a tough one. It could cross through and keep coming down right there, or it could try to make a base here. We'll look at it. It says it bounced back up in the after hours to 430. Yeah, it's at. I'll have to look at that one in the morning. IBDA. Again, that one could pull back or it could stop right there. It's hard to tell. EDBL Edible Garden. Let's see. This one was just in the top. I don't even know if we noticed because we looked at this one before and it did pop way up there, but no big deal. It's pulling back now. And let's look at that Edible Garden. 34 to 42 down to 29 at 30, and it does kind of look like it might want to roll off the MACD and has a nice base up here. So this one might be a good one to keep an eye on to set back up and ride it back up, and that's EDBL. We're familiar with that. And EJH took another dive down 5 cents, and this one was trying to get set up. It looked great the other day. It ran up there. What was that? On Monday, it started to look good, and then Tuesday and Wednesday just got destroyed there. 72 down to 65. It's at 67, and hopefully it can hold because it came under that 20 and the 50 are coming down. Hopefully it can hold down here, and that bottom is going to stay at that 61 cent area, and then it tries to bounce back up where it bounces off that MACD and tries to get curling back up there. So we'll keep an eye on that tomorrow, see where it wants to go because it's right there. And WTO also came back. Similar situation right there. It was looking great. It's in that channel, and we'll see if it wants to get. It does probably want to get set up. We'll see if it stays in that channel, and then it'll get set up right there. And there you go for them bad boys. I'll run through our laptop travel ones and see what they're looking like. Probably great setups, but we'll pick out the good ones right here so you have something nice for tomorrow in addition to the other ones we just went through. So here we go, ANVS. This one's right there on that bottom line there, looking good. So this is a nice setup. And let's see, I think Notre Dame just scored a touchdown, so it's about to be 10-10 if they kick the field goal. But ANVS ran up the other day, as a matter of fact, on Tuesday, 540 to 869. It's at $5 now. And it's not looking bad right there at that $5 area. So we'll have to see. It did pull back a little bit in the after hours on Wednesday. So we'll look at it, but it was looking pretty set up there to run. Atlas Lithium Corp, ATLX, that one is getting set up. That one might be more of a next week or the week after one. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's just in the channel right there. But that will be a good setup. DFLI. Dragonfly Energy. This one, let's see when it wants to get the energy. It pulled back right there to the 20, and it's sitting on there, and it's probably going to try to curl up tomorrow, bounce into that channel probably the next, probably the next week or so, and then get set up to move. So this one's going to fly like a dragonfly. Just give it a week or two, and it'll get moving there. And that's DFLI. DLPN, let's look at Dolphin Entertainment. This one's just pulling back, but not looking bad as it stopped at the channel. It was trying to get moving there. DLPN. Yeah, it just stopped. It just was trying to run up there on the 6th and the 7th. And then it just kind of stopped on Wednesday and pulled back to that channel. It'll probably roll off the MACD and get set up. It looks like it wants to. DV. Double Verify Holdings. This one actually was running up the other day. 19.99 to 20.99, so it went up $1 and it closed at 20.28 and looks really good. It looks like it wants to try to curl through tomorrow. Keep an eye on this one tomorrow. That one actually looks good. DV looking nice, and let's see EQ what that's doing. The equalizer. It's called Equilium or something. And it looked like it was just in that channel. So this one could be a setup one for a few days there. Yeah, it's probably bounced around 77 to 84, closed at 72. Probably going to stay in that channel and bounce around for EQ. NFTFT, Future FinTech. This one is going to be setting up as well. It's in the channel and setting up. It probably has a week or two and it'll get good. MCVT, we looked at that nice dip right there for that Mill City Ventures, and we discussed that one already. NTWK, Netzel Technologies. This one was starting to run up there and looking good. Keep an eye on this. NTWK. Yeah, I like that one. It could get running up into that 277. It's at 270, but it does look like it's trying to get set up there to get moving. NTWK, OPAL, Opal Fuels. just kind of making a base at that 20. I don't know if it's going to be popping off tomorrow. A lot of these are just in that channel, just good setups. And again, tomorrow's a Friday after a day off, so nothing real crazy, but we'll see. I mean, you do see poppers each day. And and like I said, DV, you want to keep an eye on that one was looking good. So you will see a few run, but it's going to be one of I don't know if it's going to be a crazy day tomorrow, but we'll see. PMCB just run around that channel getting set up there. So that's another one we'll keep an eye on for next week. RDI, Reading International. This one could be trying to get moving. RDI. Looks like it's trying to curl up in that channel right there. Keep an eye on this one in the morning. That one could be a mover. And let's look at run to see if it's trying to run here. It looks like it was pulling back right there. It just recently ran Sun Run. We were looking at this thing, and it ran up the other day. As a matter of fact, it was on Tuesday. It ran up. It got to 1130 to 1188. It's kind of pulling back now. Probably come back into the 1018s. It's at 1073. But yeah, that got run up there. We were looking at it. Did have some crazy looks there for 2 days, and now it's pulling back, and I think it will get set back up, RUN, to run back up, but it is pulling back in SKYE, if I could type it in. Sky Biosciences, this is in a great spot, guys, and it's trying to get set up. It's trying to get moving, and it wants to run to the sky soon. So keep your eye on this SKYE because it is looking really good right there. And STNE, let's see, let me see, STNE, Stone Co. Let's see what this is up to right here. This isn't a good spot to start setting up and get bouncing down here. So we'll keep an eye on this Stone Company, whatever it's called, Stone Co. Yeah, it pulled back 828 to 795. It's at 798, but this one's going to get set up right there as well. So we will keep an eye on that bad boy, STNE. It's not ready yet, but it will be an SYTA. We look at this every once in a while. It did split and started to run up, split right after Christmas. It's in that channel right there, just kind of flat, and it is going to be a good setup. So keep your eye on this because this one is getting set up. It ran 9 to 957, down to 671, and it closed at 740. So it's bouncing around. And that channel is literally 689 to like 913. So it can bounce around anywhere where it was. It'll run in and out of the channel, but it will bounce around as it's setting up. And it is setting up there. SYTA and WPRT, Westport Fuel Systems. This one's just in that channel. It actually pulled back into it. WPRT. Yeah, like trying to run, it almost got out of it on Saturday, on the 7th there on Tuesday, and then just kind of pulled back Wednesday, but it'll stay in there and bounce around and get set up for that one as well. And ACM Research, this one's getting set up. It's just pulled back to that 20. I don't know if it'll get moving tomorrow, but it is getting set up. And if it does, it'll get moving up into the 17 area, and it's in the 15. So we'll keep an eye on that to see if it wants to move. And there you go, Laptop Travels list looking nice right there. And like I said, DV and SKYE, keep an eye on them too, especially for tomorrow. And that NTWK is getting set up here. It's just, yeah, that one looks good too. So them three especially, keep an eye on. The rest are getting set up. And here we go. Let's take a look real quick. We'll run through the SPY, the big caps. I'll hit crypto, and then I'll look at the messages real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. And you guys can enjoy the Orange Bowl there. I believe it's 10:10 now, so in like 8 minutes left in the third quarter. So we can wrap it up, and you can enjoy the rest of the game. And I will go through and see what's going on with the messages. So here we go real quick. Let me look at that SPY, see what's happening. It was up, but then it pulled back in the after hours, only up like 80 something cents. It's touching right there on a support line, but like I said the other day, it could come down to that 570. I'm not so sure it wants to come down that far, but it could. And it's teetering right there. It's held itself up so far pretty well. So it hasn't come down there really, but I'm not saying it's impossible. Again, we'll see how things want to open up tomorrow morning and what they look like. And we will definitely be on at 7 a.m. So we will know what it looks like. Apple, let's look at AAPL. It was up 49 cents, and it does look like it's trying to get bottomed out here and try to curl back up. So maybe that's a good sign. And I think I saw Laptop Travel did post the overnight, so I'll look at them and we will take a look at the messages as well, like I said, but we'll roll right through these real quick. Amazon, AMZN. Just pulled back. It was up 2 cents when it closed, and then down in the after hours, it says. And yeah, it does kind of have like a little pullback look, to be honest with you. So Amazon could pull back right there. Google, that was down. And let's see, it was trying to crawl through. It's looking good. It's sitting on that 20, but I'm not so sure. GOG, well, let me type it in. And yeah, it's sitting right on that 20. It'll have to get curled up to really try to cross through and get moving. I'm not so sure. They could just be flat. I can't really tell what they want to do tomorrow, to be honest. I wish I could. Meta's just pulling back to that 20 right there. And it does look like Meta wants to bounce up. So we'll see if Meta does want to bounce up there. How's that look like? It should try to bounce up anyway. If not, it's going to come back down into the 590. So it's at 608 right now. And that's META. And Microsoft, MSFT. Microsoft, this one's actually trying to set back up. It was looking pretty good the other day again. So we'll keep an eye on Microsoft. They got some stuff going on over there because it's getting set back up and wants to run. Remember, it took off faster than we thought, and it is getting set up off this line again. So keep an eye on Microsoft. And Nvidia pulled back, and I believe it was down more in the after hours, but I think this thing's going to try to bounce back up. It just has that look like it wants to get bouncing. So we'll see. I don't know if it really wants to dip down to that 134 area. It's at 138, and I kind of feel like Nvidia wants to take a nice bounce. So we'll see what's up with Nvidia tomorrow. And good old Tesla. TSLA was kind of up and down. It was just floating around. I think it went down in the after hours. I mean, it ran around. Obviously, it went 395 to 402, and it came down to 387 and closed at 392. And it does look like it's just trying to bounce around down here and just set up. So maybe the January 2nd at that 373 was its bottom. We'll have to keep an eye on it. We'll get a better idea possibly tomorrow and be able to tell for next week. And that's good old Tesla. AMC was down like 12 cents. And like I said, thing was setting up, looking great. I still feel like that bottom's at 387 right there. You're at 395 area. So I'm not so sure it's going to pull back again down there. Could pull into the 389 area, but I don't know if it is. And it is crossed over, and it still looks pretty good. It could have just been that pullback on that with everything else. GameStop did the same thing, pulled back a little bit, but don't look bad at all. And CHWI, good old Chewy, that was up, and I'm telling you, this thing is setting up like crazy. This thing wants to get cruising like relatively soon, guys. So keep your eye on CHWI because it looks really good right there. And good old Netflix. Yeah, I don't know what Roaring Kitty has going on with Chewy, but something's up there. And Netflix is pulling back, and like I said, 865. Watch it come down to that. It went down to 873, so it should pull back a little bit more right there. And AVGO, Broadcom. That one is pulling back, but hitting this 20 right here. AVGO, let's see. It is, yeah, like I said, hitting that 20. Let's see if that gets curled back up right there. So that'll be an interesting one tomorrow, AVGO. Oh, that was crazy. Some dude on Notre Dame just got slaughtered. I haven't even been watching. I just happened to just glance at it for a second, and some dude just got hit pretty good. Anyway, AVGO, like I said, hitting that 20, and it's going to be interesting if it wants to bounce off, curl back up. It almost looks like it wants to, so we'll see what that wants to do tomorrow. And here is MU, that Micron, that was running up. It pulled back a little bit. Wednesday, I keep wanting to say Friday, Wednesday, but hitting that 50 and could easily bounce up. So like I said, it's so hard to tell what these things want to do tomorrow all across the board. TSM's been pulling back, not crossed through, and it just hit that all-time high. It made that resistance up there at that 221, and now it's at about 206 area. And TSM, like I said, that one could pull back here to 202 and then get set back up. So we'll keep an eye on TSM and see what that if that wants to pull back some more. SMCI, that one did pull back to the 50. Wasn't looking terrible. So we'll see. It had crossed through going up, and now it's just making that line coming down. But I think it's going to bounce back up. So we have to keep an eye on SMCI. It gets up into the $40 area. It's at 32 right now, but it gets up into the 40s. It's going to get cruising right there. So we will watch to see what it wants to do. AMD had pulled back massively the other day. It ran up and then came crashing down. And let's see, it's on that support line. Let's see what it wants to do right here. Yeah, 128 down to 120. And it doesn't look, like I said, it's just on that support line down here. And the 20 is just kind of right over top of it. So you can't really tell. I don't know why it came down so much. And, but anyway, AMD pulled back, not looking terrible. We'll see if it pulls back some more right there. But it did run up the last few days and then had some nice pullback. Good old PayPal. This is down, but I'm telling you, this thing's been set up and looking really good right here. PayPal. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's just been setting up and just looks good. If it pulls back, it's coming down into the 86 area, but it is looking good right there. PayPal, it's in the 87 area. 87.76, right about that. And let's take a look at snow and see what that is up to. Is it going up? Is it coming down? Snow was setting up right here, and it does look pretty good. It was up on Wednesday. SNOW 159 to 162, and it closed at 160, and it doesn't look bad right there. It could pull back, though. I mean, its bottom does look like at 153. That 50's down at 151, and they could push it down as it sets up, but just watch for any dips on SNOW, but it is getting set up right there, and Qualcomm pulled back too. That one's getting set up pretty well, so it just hit that 20, and that could do anything. It could pull back down to that line at 155, or it could pop right back up, QCOM. And let's take a look at ARM because this one's actually looked pretty decent after the lawsuit. ARM, this one hasn't looked bad. It's been kind of running up there. And yeah, it looks pretty good to try to run up some more. So keep an eye on ARM. It looks pretty strong right there. So ARM is looking strong. INTC, Intel is setting up. It did pull back, but I'm telling you, Intel is definitely setting up for like next week. So we are going to keep our eye on it tomorrow. Even Monday, I think might be perfect. I don't think it's going to be ready to rock and roll. We'll be able to tell better tomorrow, obviously, but Intel's getting ready to set up. Disney, let's see what this Disney's up to. That one's pulling back. It's in the channel at the 50 at like 109 and doesn't look bad there. So it did have that little dip right there Wednesday, and that could get set up to get moving. It was setting up. Oxy, this did pull back, but it's just been running up here, and it didn't get into the top. It just kind of pulled back as it was about to hit the top line, and I think they're going to get in there. And say ExxonMobil actually pulled back at $1.82. I didn't even notice that the other day, but ExxonMobil looks like it did. Yeah, ExxonMobil 109 down to 106. It's at 107, so it did have a nice little pullback, but not looking terrible. It still didn't even get down to that bottom, which would have been 104.84. So not quite that far down there, but it did take a little pullback. Good old Mara pulled back there. They're setting up, I'm telling you, Bitcoin and stuff, they are way down, but I think they're going to get set up to get moving. I was surprised they pulled back that much, but nothing really surprises you, especially as you're about to transfer the administrations, and so they could pull back really far down and start popping up as he gets in office. So Riot setting up was run up, and now it has that little pullback look, but this thing does look pretty great. And like I said, just pulled back 1220, got up to 1231, came down to 1150, but closed at 1203. And that 20's at like 1187. And Riot is setting up. It looks really good right there. So looks better than Mara, I think. MSTR pulled back some, that's for sure. That was definitely cruising, had that pullback and has that like little pullback look there. Let's see what it did in the after hours. 338 up to 344 down to 317. It closed at 334, so it didn't close that bad, and it's sitting right there. All it has to do is curl up, and I'm telling you, it's getting set right up here. So it's just a matter of days, it looks like, that it's going to get moving, unless it has to completely get set up, and then I don't know if it's going to do it. It'd have to pull back pretty good to do that. Maybe it does want to pull back to 300. So we'll look at it tomorrow morning and see what MicroStrategy is up to right there. And CLSK, that one did pull back, but that bottom line's right there at 946 area, 940. And we'll see if it pulls back. If it does, it's going to be a nice little pop off of there. So keep your eye for that one. And that is CLSK. I know Laptop Travel likes that one. CleanSpark. Coinbase, that was down $4. And it was trying to get set up and then pulled back. So you are seeing some great dips down here. And like I said, I think we're going to start seeing these bad boys trying to get set back up to get moving. Either that or they're going to really be dipping down pretty hard. So we'll obviously look at them all tomorrow and find out what's going on. DJT, that had pulled back. It's up in that channel and it looks like it's trying to get set up. You would imagine it would be trying to get set up here. So like I said, in that channel is 3420 to 3556. It went 3521 to 3553 down to 3356 and it closed at 3452. So like in the middle there. But it does have that look like it could pull back a little bit, and then the 200's down here at 33. So we'll see how they set up tomorrow morning. Again, you just can't even tell, and especially with that day off today. So we can't even really, I can't tell anyway. PHUN did pull back there, but again, it's going to set up and get fun. It's just going to get into that channel now. It had run up. It's just a little pullback, and it will get set up. PHUN. MTN, this one ran up a little bit, and we were looking at it, good old mountain, and it is setting up, guys. I'm telling you, MTN, this thing, that Val Resorts, they own the mountains, and it's wintertime, and these things just got smashed with snow. Breckenridge, all of them. Val, they're getting smacked with snow out there, like getting a foot. And so yeah, keep your eye on these things. And these passes are insane expensive now. It's wild how much it is to go out there. And so yeah, MTN, keep your eye on it. It's setting up too. And that bottom should have been the other day on the third at like 173, and you're at like 178, 180, somewhere in that range. And that is MTN. And MCD, good old McDonald's, is pulling back there. It was trying to get set up, and then it just took a dip. So we'll watch for it to try to get set back up a little bit better. It looked like it was trying to get moving there from that what it was at 288 and then it ran up to 290 and just couldn't keep it and just came back down. And I think the CEOs who are tearing up the policy, I was just trying to find some news on here. That's what they launched a new McValue menu, and I think people are like upset about that thing. So MCD, McDonald's not doing perfect right there. And let's see what our buddy Boeing is up to. It is pulling back, but making a base here. Again, these aerospace and defense ones, they will get set up here. So we will go through them bad boys and see what they're all up to. And space is one too. It was down, pulled back with everything else in the market for the most part. So we'll see what it wants to do tomorrow. It's hitting that MACD line. We'll see if it wants to try to bounce back up. And Rivian pulled back into the 14s, hitting the 20. And it does look like it's trying to curl down at the moment. So we'll see if Rivian can stop right there at the 20 and get curled back up, or if it's going to cross through and come down. If it does, it could come down into the 12. So that's RIVN, good old Rivian. And PLTR, that one pulled back to the 50. That's right, it did pull back finally. I mean, where is it? 66 was should be that low, 66.51. I'd watch for it to try to bounce off of here because it could get back up into the 70s. So watch PLTR. If it gets much lower, it'll come through and try to hit that bottom. So, but be careful. We knew it was after yesterday or after Tuesday. We kind of knew Wednesday it was pulling back more, obviously. And so you could have played that, but like I say, be careful with them bad boys. And Sophie too. That's sitting on a support line. That could get bouncing up. So be careful with that. Good old Dell was up, pulled back to the 20, and honestly is looking pretty good right here. So Dell is not looking too bad. NKE did pull back. It was trying to get set up really nice, and it did have a nice pullback there. So this one could be getting into the bottom or getting into the basement or bottoming right here at that 71.01 area and going to get popping. So Nike could be a good opportunity very soon. DXYZ is pulling back there. We'll see if it is getting set up. And again, they don't even have options for this thing. So unfortunately, that good old Sezzle, that one pulled back like $6 to 248. It was crossing up and had run up a little bit. And then I'll hit some resistance, pull back. We'll see if it wants to pull back any more than that. And IBM we were looking at, that did pull back, but it's still setting up pretty nice right there. So there you go with them bad boys. Let me look at crypto real quick, and then I'll take a look at the messages. So let me see what crypto is up to at the moment. Bitcoin's at 93,447, and it is kind of red. So let's see what it's up to. It is pulled back there, and yesterday could be its bottom for it to try to set back up. So we'll see. That 20, it did get below, or the 20, it got below to 50, and we'll have to see if it can get curled back up here for Bitcoin. Let me see what the rest of them are up to real quick. Ethereum 3,244, and that bad boy is coming down. It does look like it's tried to bottom out there. Let me see. Interesting. It does look like it tried to bottom out, but it could stair step down a little bit more. Let me see Solana because that's in the 180s now, 188. And that one, I mean, like I was saying the other day, I didn't think it wanted to get pushed down by that 50, and then that 50 just pushed it right down like it was no big deal. We'll have to see. I mean, it looks like it's trying to base out again down here. It is trying to cross through coming down, but I don't know if it's going to really get pushed down as much. So we'll have to see about that one. That's Solana, and Cardano's back to 92. It was just over $1 the other day. And that one looks like yesterday could be its bottom there. So we'll have to see about that in the morning. And Doge is back to 32. It just started to get moving again and came right back. And yeah, again, yesterday could be in its bottom there. It's hitting the line, and we'll have to see if they're going to cross through tomorrow and come down some more, or if they're going to try to roll back off and go up. If they cross through, they're definitely pulling back more, obviously. And let's look. That Sheeb is actually, let's see what it's doing here. That one's actually trying to, you can't really tell. It looks like it's trying to roll off the MACD. Let me look at Sheeb on mine real quick. It's interesting. SHIB Let me see what you say. Yeah, it is trying to right there. Sheep looks like it's trying to roll off, so that's actually nice. Bonk, let me just look on here. I'll just take a quick look on mine. BONKUSD. And let's see right here. And Bonk's still coming down. It could have been bottomed out there yesterday. I think a lot of them look like they might be bottomed out there yesterday. I know that WIF came down quite a bit. I'm glad Laptop Travel's wife doesn't like that one much because it did pull back down there to like 149. It does look better. It looks like it wants to try to roll off that MACD. It's at 157 now. So there you go with them bad boys. And let me see what you guys want to see. And we'll take a look, and then you guys can check out the game. It's 10 to 10, and the third quarter is about to be over. So you guys can enjoy the entire fourth quarter there. So let's roll and overnight trade. I don't. Where do you get the trades at? Where do you get your overnight prices at? Laptop Travel. Oh yeah, the MSTR option. They definitely got slot. Hopefully that bounces back. Like I said, tomorrow. It isn't looking too bad there, but they definitely got hit hard, and it has resistance there, and it made it. It just made it. Yes, not yesterday. It made it on Wednesday, and or possibly even Tuesday, but it did fall down the channel, but it does have good support at 300, but it is at 334. So you don't want to see it come down that much more, but it could, this thing does move like $40 pretty fast. So hopefully that's what it's looking like. And the copper's miner's looking good, huh? So we'll have to look at that. COPX. That is Copper's Miner ETF, and yeah, that's looking good. So aluminum and copper, huh? COPX. Is that what I said it was? COPX, yeah. Yeah, that's looking really good right there. I agree with that. Laptop travel looking nice for that one. And uh IONQ is up in the overnight market. Laptop travel said like 10%. So there you go with that one. So you guys can see, we'll see what that's up to because that took a major dip there on Wednesday, IONQ. So yeah, we'll see if that one wants to, and like I said, that one could be bouncing back up. Um, that Roaring Kitty sold his Chewy shares in October, but the stock was added to the Nasdaq index, and also Chewy was added to the S&P Mid Cap 400 on November 6th. And yeah, I'm telling you, that looks pretty good there. So I guess Roaring Kitty doesn't like it anymore, but telling you what, it's set up. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets back in it or something because it looks pretty damn good. I'll tell you that. And I think it looks probably, I mean, GameStop set up, but I think Chewy might look even better. And AMC was looking great, and it's not looking bad. It just came back. It's got to jump back up now. It's going to set back up to get really bullish, but it was super bullish and pulled back a little more than it should. And let's check out the ones from Jennifer Lee so you guys know some good momentum plays here. GAUZ, that is Gauzy, the aerospace and defense in Israel. And let's see, it just pulled back and hit that line right there. We're very familiar with this one. And yeah, it just kind of pulled back, hit that line. We'll have to see if it wants to bounce right there. That's an interesting one that you put down for today for a bounce because it does. It has that weird look like it's hitting that $10 area and could definitely bounce off. We'll look at that in the morning. CVNA, let's see what Carvana's doing because that one took a nice dip. And it is bouncing back up. That bottom was there at like that 180 area. Would it get down 175? It's back to 197. Let's see. CVNA. Yeah, it's not looking big. You might catch a better price on it. It could pull back a little bit as it sets up. So just watch for it, but it is going to get set up right there. CVNA and TGEN. Oh, hold on. TGEN. What is that? I know that's like, isn't that like a ETF or something? Why isn't it coming up? No, it's not. It's an OTC. I don't know what I'm thinking, but TGEN looks like it is an OTC, yeah, and it is a Tech Ogen or something like that. And it's at what, $2.20. It did run up there on Tuesday, Wednesday. It went 220 to 197. It's just kind of flat. I can't really, it could go either way. It's just a hard one. It pulls back. It's coming back to the 170. It's at 220. I just can't really tell exactly which one that one's going to do. Let's look at Ford, good old F. And this one's down at the bottom and looking pretty good to set up right there. I have to say Ford's looking good. So we'll keep an eye on Ford because that one's going to get set up. Maybe not popping tomorrow. Could bounce up tomorrow, but it is going to get set up right there. So keep an eye on Ford, and that's the letter F. ZVSA. Oh, that one's getting set up really good. Just a little bit of pullback. ZVSA. Yeah, this one's going to get set up. This could be a next weeker one that looks real good. So a couple good ones right there. Barbara wants to see DATS. Let's see what that's up to. I know it popped the other day, and that was good old Dat Chat. And let's see, it is pulled back right there. Let's see if it wants to bounce back up. DATS. And it did run, well, 256 to 946. I mean, it's way up there. And then it ran what did it do on? Wait, it didn't even. Hold on. Why does that say 8th? Oh yeah, okay. That makes sense. And then it ran 737 to 832 and it came back to 3. That's right. So it did take a big dip. I was like, what's going on here? So it did take a big dip there on what is it, Wednesday? And honestly, it could be trying to make a base there, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was a really nice pop up, and you kind of have to get out of that on them pop ups right there. So I'm not sure if it's going to run right back up or bounce back up. We'll look at it in the morning and see what it looks like, but it may have to get set back up down there in the threes right there. And the aerospace and the fence, we'll go through them for sure. I'll jot all them down. Thank you, Laptop Travel, the ones that are under 20 in the float. So under 50, we'll definitely look at them bad boys. Um, Lockheed Martin and SOBR, let's look at that, Sean. LMT, let's see what that's up to here. Good old LMT. 4 8, I'm telling you, this thing is getting set up, guys. I'm definitely looking at this thing tomorrow. I can tell you that right now. I think Thursday, I don't know what day I think it was. Wednesday, holy cow, was its bottom right there. It could pull back a little more. It has them earnings coming up on the 28th. I generally don't like earnings, but this thing just is coming out of the bottom and out of the basement and just going to be looking good. I can't imagine it not running up here. So LMT, I like it. It did take a dip, and it's probably a great opportunity down here. So we're gonna definitely be looking at that tomorrow for sure. And that SOBR is getting set up, them scientific and technical instrument ones, and I'll go through some of them. But that is getting set up, pulled back. I like that one too, SOBR. Trump tariffs sent aluminum stocks up under his previous administration. Probably why they're starting to look good. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. PayPal strong and improving fundamentals. It is looking really good. I'm telling you, PayPal's been looking good there. Next week will be huge. There you go. Pet and SNSE for Barbara. Let's look at them bad boys real quick. Oh, it's 17-10 there. Notre Dame must have scored a touchdown. And it's in the fourth quarter with 14 minutes. So there you go with your update. And Pet PET WAG Group. This one's just kind of pulling back. I think it's going to have to be in this channel 24 to 33 for a little bit. It probably is going to pull back at the moment and then get set back up there. It was trying to run up. It lost its momentum there, it looks like. We'll look at that tomorrow, but that's what it looks like to me. It's going to pull back and then have to set back up right there. SNSE. Let's see. Now this one looks like it could get cruising for you, so keep an eye on that Sensei. Oh, it did pop up, it looks like, on after hours, 56 to 83. Yeah, because this says 53 and it closed at 52. It popped up on the after hours and came back to 50. So we'll have to see what that does tomorrow because it definitely did pop up there in the after hour. They're quick, I'm telling you. You don't even notice them. And that one definitely did it. We were looking, I said it was looking good to pop up, and it actually did. I didn't even notice it. So there you go with that one. And here you go. Let me see. There's a oh, awesome. He has the down and neglected list for tomorrow. We'll go through that. STSS. Let's look at that bad boy real quick and see what that's up to. And then we'll kind of wrap it up and you guys can watch the game. STSS. Sharps Technology. This one doesn't look bad. Didn't we just look at this? I think we were. Pull back to that 20. I think you're getting set up here. And it could run up into that 255 and stay in that little channel right there. But I think that one could get it moving. Volume will send this low float deal with Pfizer. So they might have a deal with Pfizer. And yeah, it's not looking bad at all. So we'll keep an eye on that. STSS. And let's see what else. ADTX we did, and ALLR. I put them on the list already. And we definitely looked at them, and they are looking good right there. And the video, a bit weak in the opening moments of overnight trading, so we'll see what it does. It must be pulled back a little bit. Here's the overnight, the Mag 7 overnight prices. This was an hour ago, so I'm not sure, but Tesla was up, and the rest of them look like they were down a little bit. So thank you, Laptop Travel. I'll repost that one. And boom, let's see. I think we got all that, and geez, I'm just trying to scroll through, see what's going on here. If I missed anything, I think I got everything there, and boom. So yeah, couple more from Laptop Travel, real quick. CRIS, we'll look at that. Chris, that would run up, and it's actually kind of, let's see what it's doing here. CRIS might pull back a little bit more. If it doesn't, it's going to roll off higher than the MACD. It's right at that 20, like 352. It's at 346. It's yeah, it's hard to get to me it looks like it wants to pull back some more, but I could see it trying to move up. But if I had to guess, I'd say it's going to pull back. That OTLK that recently ran up and has a little pullback look right here. OTLK. Yeah, just a little pullback, nothing crazy on that, not looking terrible. Good old Lucid. Let's look at that LCID. It is pulling back. I mean, it ran up and it now made a resistance up here at that 363. It's going to stop around 291, it looks like. So it's hitting that line pretty hard. So we'll definitely look at Lucid tomorrow, see if it crosses through. I don't think it will. I think it'll try to bounce off that 20 and that MACD. And LTVR, Light Bridge, this one's pulling back here past to the 521. Let me take a look. That one don't look bad there, right there. Yeah, that one looks like it just had a little pullback and it wants to kind of dip and rip in that channel, but get moving again. It came down to that 513 and it closed at 568. Not looking real bad right there. So I would have to say that Light Bridge isn't too bad right there. And overnight prices come from Webull. So there you go. Thank you, Laptop Travel. Appreciate that one. And there you go, everybody. Like I said, we'll definitely be on at 7 a.m. We'll see how the market opens up after a weird day off. That XTIA is pulling back there, and I'll just go through the scanner in the morning because, again, day off kind of throws things off. So there you go. I think I got everything, and I'll look at I'll tell you what's trending in the morning. We'll go enjoy the Orange Bowl right there. So, and again, it's 17-10. Notre Dame is up, and it's in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes left, so you guys can enjoy that. So have a good night, everybody. Enjoy the Orange Bowl. We'll be on at 7 a.m. for our laptop lowdowns, our Jolie jumpers, and our crypto. Hopefully, it's moving back on up on a Friday. And of course, we'll see what's trying to pop tomorrow, and we'll find our 100% plus poppers. So there you go, everyone. Thank you very much for hanging out. Laptop Travel and Winter Mute, Profit Logic, MS, Luis Rodriguez, Joseph JRD, Elena, Barber, Jennifer Lee, Green Toe. How are you, Green Toe? Bong Chan Sherry, how are you tonight, Sinai? Keep trying, it says. I took me a minute to read that. And Ben, Andre, Tesserine, Sean, Tony 90, Patrick, Blessed, how are you? Blessed Big Dog, and Alicia, and everybody else that was hanging out. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of the game, and we'll be back at 7 a.m. So I'll see you guys in the morning. Have a good night, everybody.